Welcome to Akka Bits and Bytes. The buzzword today is Gen Z, and I thought it fit to delve into the individual and collective behavior from a socio-psychological perspective. Have you noticed something interesting? Across the Indian subcontinent, whenever a major social, political, or economic issue emerges, one generation seems to appear at the forefront of public conversation and protests. Generation Z. But why? Is Gen Z more rebellious than previous generations? Or are they simply responding to a very different psychological environment? To understand this, we need to look at two branches of psychology: individual psychology and social psychology. Individual psychology asks a very simple question: why does a person think, feel, and behave the way they do? Social psychology asks another: why does an ordinary individual behave differently when he or she becomes part of a group? We must understand that Gen Z is the first generation that has grown up with smartphones, social media, instant messaging, and unlimited access to information. Unlike previous generations, their worldview is shaped less by geography and more by digital communities. They don't simply inherit opinions as earlier generations do. They compare, question, verify, debate, and sometimes reject them. At the individual level, Gen Z generally values identity, authenticity, fairness, freedom of expression, and purpose. They want their voices to matter. But something fascinating happens when these individuals become part of a collective movement. Social psychology explains this beautifully. People derive part of their identity from the group they belong to. When thousands of young people believe they are fighting for the same cause, individual fear often gives way to collective courage. Shared emotions spread rapidly. Ideas become movements. Hashtag becomes identities, and digital conversations spill into the streets. Recent youth-led protests and public demonstrations across different parts of Indian subcontinent illustrates this phenomenon. While the issues have differed from country to country, one pattern remains remarkably similar. Young people organize rapidly, information travels instantly, participation becomes both physical and digital, support, criticism, debate, and mobilization all happen simultaneously. But psychology also reminds us of another important truth. Groups are powerful, yet groups are not always right. When we become emotionally attached to a cause, confirmation bias can make us seek only information that supports our beliefs. Groupthink may discourage dissent. Emotional contagion can amplify anger, fear, or hope. This is why responsible citizenship requires balancing of passion with evidence. Every generation has challenged the status quo. The difference is that Gen Z possesses unprecedented technological power. A smartphone today can influence public opinion faster than newspapers once could. That power is extraordinary, but with greater influence comes greater responsibility. The challenge before Gen Z is not merely to raise its voice, it is to combine idealism with critical thinking, to question without becoming cynical, to participate without becoming polarized, to lead without losing empathy. Because lasting social change is built not only on emotions but also on reason, dialogue, and responsibility. Perhaps the real story of Gen Z is not that they protest more, It is that they are redefining how societies communicate, organize, and participate in democracy. Whether history remembers this generation for its noise or for its wisdom will depend on how it chooses to use its collective voice. Thank you very much.